Welcome back. Now, over 1,000 transit truck drivers have been left stranded at the transit yard at Tema Harbour for the past 1 month. This has been attributed to shortage of tracking devices expected to be issued by GCnet, a service provider for the port. But sources at GCnet blamed the drivers, saying they do not return the tracking devices.
From Tema to Ouagadougou, business has virtually come to a standstill for them because they can't get access to the tracking device that they fix on their trucks, which monitors their movement. This, according to port authorities, they have run short of the tracking device.
The tracking device was introduced by government and issued by GCnet to check diversion of goods by some truck drivers who ply the landlocked countries. Each driver pays $50 per device, which is expected to be returned upon arrival at their destination. The law makes it mandatory that each driver must fix it after loading at the port. Drivers say they have been left stranded without the device.
The big problem is most of the problem even didn't come from an agent, rather from the owners of the goods. Because last week, more than 60 trucks outside with the rice, and the device is with them. And the truck, they didn't collect the advance for them to go to Burkina. So the device shorted here.
People will be here for months, sometimes weeks, and you will not get your device. And somebody will come here today and they will give him the device because a big man call and give the car number out and they will give it out. But those that they see that, Ghana, those that they see they cannot read and write very well, they will be here for weeks, which is unfair.
As a result, over 500 trucks already loaded inside the port are stacked, adding on to the congestion there. The situation is affecting their business and slowing down trade. But the two ministers from the Trade and Industry and Transport assured of a solution to the challenge when they interacted with the drivers.
We say that we've been able to have a good conversation with the people who are involved. We've identified some of the key problems, and we will quickly move into action to make sure that the issues are addressed as quickly as possible.
Ghana wants to be the center of ECOWAS trade and investment, and we cannot succeed in doing so if we are unable to make this terminal efficient enough for 150 to 200 vehicles every single day to come in and get out. That's the target. We must be targeting 200 or more vehicles coming in every day and getting out every day.
However, a source at GCnet placed the blame squarely at the doorstep of the drivers as they are mandated to return the device upon arrival at their destination.
Right, the public relations manager at the Tema Port, Paul Asarian, is joining us on the telephone lines now for a chat on this. Good evening, sir, and thank you very much. So these tracking devices, if they're that crucial, why are you not acquiring new ones or more to enable your work progress smoothly?
Well, let me emphasize that it is not our responsibility.
Okay.
It is the responsibility of the Ghana Revenue Authority to provide the tracking devices. So Ghana Revenue Authority is working through Customs and GCnet to provide the tracking devices. So it is directly in their domain. The Port Authority, we provide office facilities and terminal facilities to enable all those service providers or all those regulators to function.
Interesting. So can you explain to us really what the tracking device does and why it's necessary to have a tracking device?
In the past, Customs used to escort the transit cargoes directly. They sat in the trucks and escorted them physically to the border to exit the border. They have revenue interest in the transit cargo in the sense that these are cargoes that have not, for which duties have not been paid. And so they have to ensure that the cargo in the trucks exit through the border. Otherwise, they risk being diverted to be sold on the market without paying duties, and government will lose revenue. So, because of the dangers and other, inconveniences associated with this physical escort, customs replaced the physical escort with electronic tracking, of these trucks and cargo to exit the borders.
Right.
Unfortunately, the agencies, administering this electronic tracking of transit cargo out of the country are not providing the adequate, tracking equipment.
Okay, so would you agree with the drivers who are alleging that there is favoritism in the allocation of these tracking devices?
That one I cannot tell, but of course, in every system where we have inadequate services being provided or shortage of a particular facility that is required, for people to transact their business with, there's a likelihood that people may cut corners, and there's any difficulty, any situation where difficulty exists.
Right.
You get people who will exploit that difficulty to their advantage.
So, Ms. Ansah, are there plans for these over 1,000 or so stranded drivers? Are there plans to get them tracking devices, and how soon?
No, we don't have over 1,000 stranded drivers. But the fact is that some drivers are stranded because we have need for tracking device. We were told today when we went around together with the Minister of Transport and Minister of Trade, we were told that GCNet had brought in 400 of those tracking devices. That was about 2 weeks ago. But they are still not sufficient. And we were told that in September, another consignment will arrive. So we hope that they will keep to their word.
You're looking at about a month after, at least 1 month more?
Yes.
Okay.
We are hoping that they will keep to their...
Mr. Paul Ansah, we're grateful for your time.
Yes.
Thank you very much for making time. Paul Asari Ansah is the Marketing and Public Relations Manager at the Tema Port. You heard him talk about the need for these tracking devices, which the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and the Ghana Revenue Authority are claiming that the drivers take these trackers and do not return them. This is still news at 10, and we're telling you now that over 1,000 transit truck drivers have been left stranded at the Tema Port for the past 1 month. This has been attributed to shortage of tracking devices, and you heard the port authorities say in a month or two there will be some tracking devices available.